What's up YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. This week's episode is going to be a hell of an episode because this one is going to be for those who are like myself, a big fan of Dark World, because in this one I'm going to be talking about the Structure Deck R Devil's Gate set that's going to be an OCG product. And I'm going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of the set, as far as like what we can expect from this set, when we can expect it in the TCG, and some of the different cons that could possibly happen with this set, such as like some of the different downsides that could happen with the set. Also too, if you guys hear music in the background, I've got the Zora's Domain Day theme, from Breath of the Wild. No copyrights. You guys know how this works. Shit's going on, man. People, shit is going on. Anyway, if you guys remember, I believe in 2010, Konami released a structure deck set called I believe it was called Gates of the Underworld, and it was basically a Dark World deck, basically. So I'm going to showcase you guys on the card database website what the set was. Gotta go down a little bit, gotta go down quite a ways. Here we are, Gate. So it was actually released in 2011. I didn't realize it, but Structure Deck Gates of the Underworld was released on October 18th, 2011, and the strategy was basically the Dark World strategy. So we ended up getting brand new printings of some brand new cards at that time, that ended up becoming some of the more meta-defying cards of the format at that time, because at that time Dark World was meta. It was a meta deck. But the funny thing is that you were only running at that time. You were only running cards such as Gold, Silver, Brawn, Huntsman of Dark World, and also at that time, Snow and Grapha. Those were the main Dark Worlds that you were running from the meta. Yeah, there were several others, like Sangan and Tragoedia and whatnot, but there was even also but funny thing is that this was right around like 2011, like right around the beginning of the 2020. Sorry, not 2020. 2012 era where if I remember correctly, I believe Fire Fist was starting to come into the format, as were Six Samurais, because we were getting Six Samurai support during that time. So when you look at this set, at the set, the full set list is as follows. You have Grapha, Dragon Lord, Dark World, which has two separate effects. The first effect allows you to bounce one of your Dark World monsters back to your hand and summon and you summon this card from the graveyard. And if it was sent to the grave by a card effect, you get to target one of your opponent's cards and destroy it. But if it was sent from your hand to the grave by an opponent's card effect, not only could you do that, but you also get to select a random card from your opponent's hand, and if it's a monster, you can special summon it to your field, which would help you go even deeper into your Xyz plays, which was absolutely insane. Could it go into your synchro plays? Possibly. It depends on what card you picked out of your opponent's hand. You also have Snow on Light of Dark World. This was basically the Stratos for the whole deck. This was basically the Stratos for the whole deck, which is pretty crazy. Ceruli is kind of an interesting one, because it acts as... Come, what is in my eye? Guys, I'm sorry, there is something caught in my eye. I gotta keep doing this. There we go. Anyway, Cerulea is kind of an interesting card, because if it's sent to the graveyard from your hand by a card effect, you can special summon this card to your opponent's side of the field in face of defense. And when it's special summoned by the effect of a Dark World monster, it says your opponent must discard one card. Because this really is on your opponent's side, you're technically the opponent, so you would have to discard a card. In which case, in cases like this, this would trigger the effects of Grapha. It could trigger the effect of Snow. It can even also, target, trigger Bro's effect, where you're able to just essentially get a pot of greed, which is absolutely insane. It can even also, deal with, discard Silva or Gold, or even Rainbow, which was not the best card of the format at that time. But moving on, you've got Zur, Knight of Dark World, which was one of the only 2 vanilla Dark World monsters of the format. You have Rang, Gatekeeper of Dark World, which was not that great for its attack power, but its defense pretty much made all the difference. Almost anyway. Scar, Scout of Dark World. This was an interesting one because this was basically a Rhoda. This was basically a Rhoda where you get to just add a level 4 lower Dark World to your hand. It's pretty good, but Snow is a lot better because of the fact that you can add any Dark World card from your deck to your hand, which is pretty cool. You have Kagi Gorilla of Dark World, which is basically Grapha, but in a smaller version of him. And anyway, where if it's sent to the grave by a card effect, you can target a monster on the field and destroy it. It can be yours or your opponent's, which is pretty crazy. Gren, Tactician of Dark World, is basically MST. Plain and simple. That's just how it is. Bro, Huntsman of Dark World, acts as a pot of greed, depending on the circumstance. If it's by your effect, you only get to draw 1, but if it's by your opponent's effect, you do get a pot of greed, which is pretty cool. Beige is actually kind of a cool one because you can discard any of your Dark World monsters and you get to trigger off their. Or actually, sorry, Beige is basically Monster Reborn. That's all it is. Brawn was the one that allowed you to discard any of your Dark Worlds and allow you to trigger off their effects. You had Silva, which basically you have Gold and Silva, which basically not only help them be summoned back to the field, but Silva's effect, when it's discarded by an opponent's card effect, your opponent returns 2 cards from their hand to the bottom of the deck in any order. So it acts as sort of like a double trap dust shoot, but instead of you taking the cards, your opponent does, which is pretty cool. But gold is a little bit better because it just pops. It just pops 2 cards that your opponent has or may have on board, which is pretty cool. Rainbow is not good. It really wasn't. Its effect reads, if this card is discarded from your hand to your grave by an opponent's card effect, special summon this card from the grave. When this card is special summoned this way, destroy all monster board controls or spells and traps they control. So you could either target the front lines or the back row. In some instances, you were most likely targeting the back row because the front lines didn't really mean a whole lot, especially if they didn't have much of a board at all, which is pretty insane. But still, you would literally have to run Cerulea to trigger off Rainbow's effect. Literally. You also have Belial, Marquis of Darkness, Tragoedia, Sangan, Nudoria, Goblin King, Grave Squirmer, Card Guard, Battle Fader, and then of course to the field spell, the Gates of Dark World, Dark World Lightning, Gateway to Dark World Dealings, Allure of Darkness, Card Destruction, and Terraforming, Dark Eruption, Dark Scheme, The Forces of Darkness, Deck Dev, which was a very dangerous card. Very, like, broken. Deck Dev Virus, absolutely insane. Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Mind Crush, Dark Deal, Transmigration Prophecy, which was, I think, banned now, if I remember correctly. Escape from the Dark Dimension, and Dark Bribe, which was the only counter trap of the deck. So, that was the deck. That was the structure deck. A lot of the decks back at that during that era, you were basically running 2 Grepha, 2 Snow, 3 Ceruli, 3 Gren, 2 Bro, 2 Beige, 3 Brawn, and then 2 each, and then like 1 or 2 each of like Silver and Gold, and you were running Rainbow in the side as basically as a like last resort type of deal, especially if you went into games 2 or 3 and you know that you're gonna need this card. Rainbow would be pretty lit if used correctly. But with this Structure Deck R Devil's Gate, it's basically the reprint it's basically a much more revamped version of the Gates of the Underworld structure, and it's gonna be. And for those who don't know, it'll be released in the OCG on August 6th, 2022, and it's supposed to expand the Gates of the Underworld structure deck, where I'm assuming we'll probably get better support that wasn't the spell that we had that we got in what was it? Rise of the Duelist, if I remember correctly. I'm actually gonna look up the card. I think it was like Charged into a Dark World or something, which had a very interesting effect, to say the very least. Here we are, Dark World. I'm gonna go to that. Let's see. Yeah, Charge into a Dark World. Target 1 level 4 lower Fiend monster in your grave, special summon it, then discard a Fiend monster. You can only activate one charge in one. You can only activate this card once per turn. So this was basically a monster reborn at the cost of basically just discarding a card, basically. So if you guys did not see my Dark World deck profile, which you guys definitely should, I'm basically running some of the more basically some of the more better Dark World monsters that were actually in the Gates of the Underworld structure deck, with some additions to the deck. So I'll review the deck, my version anyway. So we have 2 Grapha, 1 Lucent, which has an effect where you can basically where if Lucent is discarded by a effect, then you could special summon this card from your graveyard, and if it was discarded from your hand by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a Fiend from your deck to either side of the field, which is not too bad. 2 silver, 2 gold, triple Brawn, triple Snow, double Beige, double Bro, double Gren, a Doomsday Horror, a Morphine Jar, 2 Dark Resonator, 2 Crimson Resonator, 1 Red Resonator, 1 Synchron Resonator, and 2 Morphcane Stagigel, 2 Allure of Darkness, 2 Drag Down into the Grave, triple Dark World Dealings, triple Gates of Dark World, a single Monster Reborn, a single Gateway to Dark World, a Resonator Engine, and a Resonator Call, 2 Forces of Darkness, 2 Engine, 2 Calls, 2 Forces of Darkness, 2 Dark Deals, 2 Red Carpet, and 2 The Great Soul, which is an OCG card. That's my main deck. My extra deck is 2 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, a hot Archfiend King Calamity, Red Supernova Dragon, Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend, Hot Archfiend Bane, 2 Red Rising Dragon, a Dragosidos, Corrupted Nether Soul Dragon, Void Ogre Dragon, Infernity Doom Dragon, which is a pretty cool one, Dark Highlander, Chaos King Archfiend, and a number 14 Greedy Saramaya. My side deck has one of all 3 forms of Yubel, a Suppression Pluto, a Cypher Little Omega, a Card Destruction, a Book of Lunar Eclipse, double Fires of Doomsday, double Prohibition, double Zing Zang Hu, and double Solemn Warning. So that's basically my deck. You know, it may look bad on paper, but to be honest, it's absolutely insane. It's pretty broken. So I'm assuming. So when you look at some of the different pros and cons of this set, some of the pros that could be from the set is getting proper support that we never thought we would ever get. That wasn't a spell, you know. That wasn't a single spell. So we might get a new Dark World monster, which is a possibility. Maybe even have their own tuner monster, or possibly their own synchro monster, which is another high possibility. But I'm assuming we'll probably only get like maybe 1 or 2 cards, which is possible. But I think the biggest con of this whole thing is the fact that we won't be getting any of these new cards until we get them in a side set, such as Ghosts from the Past 2, where we're getting basically these structure deck are the agent one that I talked about, I think last year, if I remember correctly, somewhere around there. If you guys remember me talking about those, you guys should definitely check out those videos. But I will be going in depth with Ghosts from the Past, the second haunting, possibly this weekend. I'm thinking either tomorrow or Sunday. You guys will know by the title of my videos. But yeah, all in all, I think those are just some of the cons that we might get. We won't be getting these cards until like a side set. The biggest pro, definitely the fact that we're going to be getting new support. As far as when we'll be getting these cards in the TCG, that remains to be seen. We don't really know exactly what cards are going to be in it. I'm assuming it'll be practically the entire Gates of the Underworld structure deck with some additional new Dark World monsters, which is a possibility. We could possibly see a Dark World monster where, I don't know, where it could just basically pop the whole board or something like that. I don't know, honestly. I honestly don't know. But honestly, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what exactly we will get out of this upcoming structure deck. And if you guys notice that the sun keeps like going bright and going dark, it literally rained last night. Like right before I went to bed, it rained like fucking hell. But yeah, I'm assuming that might be the case, but only time will tell. But that brings me to the question of the day: what kind of Dark World support do you guys want to see get printed in structure deck R Devil's Gate, which apparently is going to be the temporary name from what I've been hearing? Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, which get posted every Friday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And as always, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All the links will be in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail you guys want to send me, and you guys want me to open it up on the channel, all the info will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.